Good morning, everybody. How you doing? How you doing? Welcome, everyone. It's time. Are you pumped? I know I'm pumped, especially for myself and my viewers. I know that today is a very, very exciting day that we have been very much awaiting, especially if you're a fan of me and my fighting game coverage for the longest time, right? Look at me, decked out in my Street Fighter 2 shirt with the Capcom-esque border to the stream, right? Basically, we survived, all right? Ladies and gentlemen, today is Friday, the 24th of June, 2022. I'm Darkside Phil, and I welcome you here to the PreStream podcast. And I welcome you today to the premiere of the Capcom Fighting Collection. I am so excited and so pumped for a new retro fighting game collection that I cleared my schedule for 2 days to play it. Okay? That's how pumped I am for this. I'm so excited to be able to jump into a new collection. And here's the thing. I'm someone who grew up in arcades back in the day. Okay? That was my formative years as a gamer, going to arcades, playing beat-em-ups like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and The Simpsons. But then when fighting games came out, when Street Fighter 2 hit arcades, all right, that's when, like, everything changed. And quite frankly, it changed my life in a lot of ways. Having that head-on-head, one-on-one competition, traveling to play in tournaments competitively and all of that. Every weekend, it was not only just a pastime or a hobby, it was a ritual, it was a habit, it was something that I just did every weekend. I went Friday and Saturday nights to arcades, whether it was my local arcade, which was called What's Your Game, or years later, if I went to the mall, or if I went to a larger game center, somewhere else in the state where people would gather. All right. Basically, it was a time for me when I could step outside of my comfort zone of my life, of what everything was, and say, here's something really cool, really interesting, really fun. It's competitive, right? It really was. Like, if we think about in my life, when was the first time I felt any kind of a competitive nature? Was probably Street Fighter. I mean, you could argue school when you're younger. You want to get the best grades and be the top of the class or whatever. But for me, fighting mano a mano in person on an arcade cabinet against competition from all over the place was a really awesome feeling, really unique feeling in my life, okay? And over the years that I've been a content creator on YouTube, now going on 14, because we're about to be 14-year anniversary, if you can believe it, this coming September. By the way, we got some major membership bombs being dropped on the chat. We got super chats coming in. Don't worry, I'm going to shout all this out later. Thank you so much to Trill1, who is dropping membership bombs on the chat right now, and people are accepting those memberships. Congratulations. Be sure to thank Trill1 for the gifts. Okay. So, yeah, like Street Fighter was really how I felt the first time I ever felt really competitive in my life and felt like I could maybe be good at something. You know what I mean? I like video games, but I was playing them at home, solo, or with a friend doing a co-op of like a beat 'em up or something, or shooter game. But then playing Street Fighter was a whole other animal. And 14 years, I've been a content creator on the internet now. Yes, I'll be 14 years this fall. I have tried to show my love of competitive fighting games through the content that I've put out, although admittedly, I am a variety content creator, meaning when I started back in, 2008, I integrated games like Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo HD Remix, Third Strike Online Edition, etc. into my content to try to show my love of the classics, right? And when a new fighting game came out, like Street Fighter 4, or Marvel vs. Capcom 3, various other 3D fighters over the years, but also the Mortal Kombat reboot franchise, Injustice. Whenever a new fighting game came out, I tried to do my best to kind of cover it, although really my roots have always been in Street Fighter. Okay? So even though I enjoy playing these other franchises and these other games, I always come back to those formative days, those roots of me being in arcades playing old school Street Fighter. That's what I harken back to, right? So I feel the most at home when I'm playing old school Capcom fighting games. And there are more than just Street Fighter. A lot of people don't realize that Capcom actually had several franchises in the 90s, but Street Fighter absolutely became the most popular of all of them, and that's the one that they focused on for the longest time. And then they also focused on the Versus series, which was kind of like the more cartoony, over-exaggerated fighting games with crazy flashy combos and the like, right? So those were the two that really ended up being the most popular. But there were other ones as well. Who remembers Darkstalkers, right? Their franchise where you play as mythical monsters, right? Whether it's the Yeti from, you know, the Great North, the frozen areas of the world, a werewolf named John Talbane, the Frankenstein's monster named Victor, a vampire, a demon, a ghost, right? All these different characters that in a lot of cases are like Hollywood movie monsters, but, you know, kind of more in their mythical original origins. So pretty cool that they had a franchise like that, and it had a ton of versions, but it just never hit mainstream success like Street Fighter did. So to this day, not a lot of people really talk about it, and they never revived it, which is weird because Capcom has this habit of kind of going back to its classics and reviving them in various ways. How many times have they brought back characters from Street Fighter Alpha series or the Street Fighter 3 series and put them into a modern Street Fighter game? Yet, they've never done anything with Darkstalkers, right? But they had other games as well. You know, Red Earth, which was a really weird fantasy-style game. You know, a guy whose body looks like a big roided, like, Conan the Barbarian, but his head is a lion. What? A giant dinosaur. You could play as a dinosaur in a fighting game, yes. Weird game. But, again, did it really catch on and get mainstream approval? Not really. But it definitely is something unique in Capcom's history. Cyberbots, a game where you play as a human component that controls a giant mech that could come in and fight during the fight. Let's talk about Puzzle Fighter, right? Capcom actually took a stab at a puzzle game in arcades, of all things. Puzzle games were not popular in arcades. And Capcom took a shot at it, and actually it did pretty good in comparison to other arcade games. And so then they decided, why not make a fighting game spin-off of the puzzle game, and they called it Gem Fighter Minimix. See what I mean? Like, there's weird games in Capcom's history that most people don't remember. But, man, they were really prolific, and they were really good at what they did in the 90s. It was kind of like if you were an arcade owner, you could buy what was called a CPS2 rig for your cabinet. What it was think how now you have a console, right? You have your Xbox One or you have your PlayStation. Back then, the CPS unit was the console into which you plugged games into in your arcade cabinet. If you bought a CPS2 rig, you could play all the crazy old school fighting games, including most of the Street Fighter 2s, the entire Street Fighter Alpha series, all the Versus series, and most of, if not all the games in today's collection are CPS2 arcade games. So imagine being an arcade owner and buying a CPS2 rig, and you could just constantly be rotating out your cabinet to be different games all the time. Pretty neat. So, this collection is really neat. Now, here's the thing. I've been playing old school Street Fighter for a very long time. When I first started on YouTube, for many years, we were doing I keep saying Hyper Street Fighter 2. Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo HD Remix. Then I went into Street Fighter 4. Then various other collections came out, like Darkstalkers Resurrection Collection, the Third Strike Online Edition game. And we played that for a while. And then admittedly, old school fighting games kind of got retired a little bit. But then they came back with Ultra Street Fighter 2. If you remember, about 5 years ago, I want to say now, Ultra Street Fighter 2 was released on the Switch. And this was unique because it was basically like a revival of Street Fighter 2. It was basically Super Turbo with some tweaks and additions and new visuals. But they ruined the game. They ruined it by actually having Akuma, who's a boss character, as well as a new character called Violent Ken, be playable in every single mode, including ranked matches. So after playing it for only like a couple of months, the game was completely unplayable because everyone just used the same two overpowered characters. You couldn't even find people playing anyone else in the game. It was a waste of everybody's time. And so, finally, in 2018, they released a new collection called the Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection. And I was stoked for this because it basically ran through the entire history of classic Street Fighter. You know, all 5 versions of Street Fighter 2, all 3 versions of Street Fighter Alpha, and the 3 versions of Street Fighter 3. That's a pretty good, you know, wide variety of games and a big history of Capcom to cover. The problem was with this collection, even though it had so much coverage of the history that it covered, it basically had a lot of shortcomings. And what I mean by that is the collection did not play well online. The collection from the start had bugs and issues. At first, the lobby system didn't work at all. Frequently, errors. Cannot connect to the player, or black screen crashing, glitches, all kinds of issues. So you're trying to play this game online, and it was almost like a joke. It's like, this is supposed to be a competitive online game, and it really doesn't function like one. And then on top of that, once they finally patched the lobbies to work, they still never had the features that other fighting games have. No ability to kick someone from your lobby. So you can literally have someone sitting there not playing and just holding up a spot in your lobby, and there's nothing you can do about it. Someone could come in with an incredibly racist, disgusting, insulting name, and you have no ability to get rid of them. Wow, that's really good thinking there. Now, who made the Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection? It's a company called Digital Eclipse. This is the same company that over the years has a habit of porting classic games to modern consoles with a half-assed effort. And I hate to say that because they're currently working on a Ninja Turtles collection that I'm very interested in playing. It's going to have all the classic Ninja Turtles games that I played as a kid, plus the arcade beat-em-ups, plus the fighting games, all in one-stop shop kind of a deal. That sounds great to me. I even told you guys, when we get a release date for it, I wouldn't be opposed to doing a marathon event where we have a pizza party together. I order pizza, and we play these Ninja Turtles games, because there's so many of them, and we switch between them, and we have pizza together. It's like, it'll be a fun party atmosphere that day. I would be totally down for that. But who knows if it's going to work? It's fucking Digital Eclipse. I mean, they really dropped the ball with this 30th Anniversary Collection. Half the games aren't running at the right speed, because what they did is they emulated the arcade ROMs rather than actually like porting or doing any effort. They emulated the arcade ROMs. This means when you play a game like Super Turbo, you can only play like 6 stages, because in the arcade version, when you played Super Turbo and you booted it up for the first match of an arcade run, it would only boot 6 stages. You had to get past like maybe 6-7 opponents in the arcade mode. Then you could get to the boss stages and see the rest of the game. But the game is resetting every time you play it, so you only see like 6 stages. There's no stage select. There's no music select. There's no effort. It's literally a no-effort collection. And sadly, it was the only way that I could really access classic Street Fighter for over 4 years. There was no other way to play these games on consoles. Sure, I could have played it on Fightcade on PC, but you guys know my issues with my capture rig and how it works with my PC, and basically it wouldn't have worked. As of today, when I'm playing, sometimes my CPU goes up to 90%. Can you imagine now me trying to play these games on my PC while capturing? It's just not going to happen. So with all that happening and all that being said, I was still happy to be able to share old school Street Fighter with you guys for 4 years with the Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection. And I would like to personally extend my gratitude to those of you who not only attended the streams, but watched the videos on YouTube, and particularly to those of you who were regulars during that content and supported it. Street Fighter is near and dear to my heart. It's something I grew up playing. It's something I love. It's something that I will never forget, and I will always try to integrate it all I can into my content, all right? Even if it means every once in a while I just throw a Street Fighter stream in there, I love it that much that I don't ever want to forget how important Street Fighter has been to me in my life. And that being said, I know it's not always easy. You know, I play a session of it, and it's laggy as shit. It's dropping, it's glitching, it's having issues. 4 years we toughed through this collection, all right? And you guys stuck with me through thick and thin. And I really, really, really appreciate those of you who came out and chilled with me every Friday night and supported the Street Fighter streams. Thank you so much for that. Because finally, the light at the end of the tunnel, right, is here. And it's not a freight train coming your way like Metallica would say. It's actually a new collection that I think is going to be good. Why? Well, first of all, Digital Eclipse had nothing to fucking do with this collection. Their hackish-ash game development company didn't touch it, all right? It's a different group of game developers that made it, and they promised that this collection would be full-fledged with full rollback netcode, with online capabilities that you would want from a competitive fighting game, all right? So, I'm excited for the first time to try this out with all of you today and see how it works, all right? I'm so excited, like I said, 2 straight days. This is all I'm playing, okay? And, excuse me, I'm so excited that I bought it on both consoles. I bought this on my Xbox Series X as well as on my PlayStation 5. I have both versions. When do I ever do that with a fighting game? Never. But I did it with Capcom Fighting Collection because I feel like this is going to be something that's going to be a staple of my content. I feel like by owning both versions, I'm going to be able to have the widest player base. I'll be able to play against the most competition. I know many of you only have an Xbox or only have a PlayStation, and I'm going to be able to play against both of you. How cool is that, right? So, let's talk about how I'm going to cover it in the next couple of days. Let's talk about the games in the collection. And, ladies and gentlemen, you guys are going to get to vote in just a few moments on the first game or games that I'll be playing in this collection today on this very gameplay stream. How exciting is that? There we go. I'm excited. And I hope that you are too. Okay. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk. So, first of all, I'm playing this 2 days straight. Right now, this first stream, this daytime stream, is going to be offline gameplay. And what I mean by that is we are going to explore this collection. This collection has 6 different franchises. But actually, if you add it up, it's like 10 or more different games in it. And what I would like to do is go through each game and do a run through what's considered the arcade mode of each game. Checking out how the gameplay is, how the graphics are, right? What are the gameplay elements? How do they differ between the games? Especially with the Darkstalkers collection, because this has like every major version of Darkstalkers, and each Darkstalkers has a little tweak here or there. One version adds in EX moves, one version adds in custom combos, one version adds in boss-style characters, and others add a whole new cast of characters. You know how with Street Fighter 2, originally it was 8, then it was 16, then they added another 4, the new challengers in Super Street Fighter 2, excuse me. So they did the same thing in Darkstalkers, where they started off with like a core group, then added the bosses, and then added new characters. So I'd like to explore that with all of you. It should be pretty exciting, okay? But in addition, just running through other games. For example, Hyper Street Fighter 2 Anniversary Edition. This is a version of Street Fighter 2 that came out in 2006. What it was meant to do was revive old school Street Fighter by combining all of the versions of Street Fighter 2, all 5 of them, into one game where you could select any version of a character from Street Fighter that you wanted, all right, and pit them against each other. Now, it's a very unique situation, to say the least, because never had anything like this been really attempted before. At the very same time, it was popular for 1 year and then completely dropped and died because of EVO. And I hate to say that, but it was EVO's fault. EVO basically is the biggest fighting game tournament in the United States, and they kind of determine what games are competitive and what games aren't. Even though people liked Anniversary Edition and kept playing it, in more casual circles, after 1 year, EVO decided they wanted to take up a new version of Super Turbo that was running in a game called Capcom Classics Collection 2 that ended up being insanely inferior. But EVO didn't test it. EVO just said, we're just adopting the new version. Well, did you test it to see if it's viable? Did you see if it's competitively good? No, we're just using it in our tournament series. Oh, that sounds like a smart idea, you fucking idiots. And I hate to say it, but EVO dropped the ball so many times back in the day with the way they used to run things and do things. They're just idiots. So this game, effectively, that's a really good game in my opinion, was basically dropped. And the other thing was, Anniversary Edition was never online. There was no version of this game that was played competitively online. So there was never an opportunity for people to play it against a worldwide audience. If you wanted to play Anniversary Edition, you had to go to a physical gathering, a physical tournament or arcade, and play it against people there. So, really, this game has never had a time to shine in the competitive spotlight ever. This is the first opportunity for this game to be played by a worldwide audience. I would not be surprised if within this game being out a couple of weeks, people discover things in it that weren't even known back in 2006 when it was a competitive game for 1 year. You're going to find people figuring out strategies and crazy stuff. They're like, oh shit, I didn't know that. Wow. Okay. By the way, I'm just going to say this because apparently we still have dumb fucks who come to my streams, all right? This is not a political stream. This is not a place to talk about politics. If you're here to talk about politics, you're in the wrong place, and the moment I see it, you're gone for good. This is today the premiere of a game that I've been hyping for a long time and I'm very excited for. We're not here to talk about bullshit. So if you want to talk about bullshit, leave now and don't come back. We're not talking about bullshit today. Stop it right now. Okay. People piss me off because they're doing it on purpose. They're trying to derail my stream to make me look at how people arguing in the chat about bullshit. They know that it's a big day for me, so let's troll Phil, right? It ain't gonna work. All you're gonna do is get your ass banned permanently. Okay. Now, not only does this collection have every version of Darkstalkers and, Anniversary Edition, but it also has some games I've never even played before. I've never played Red Earth. I know of it because in the 2000s, I played a game called Capcom Fighting Jam, all right? And that game was supposed to be an amalgamation of characters from every franchise. Street Fighter Alpha, Darkstalkers, and other games such as Capcom Fighting Jam. The guy, I think his name is like Leo or something, the guy who has the lion head, and also the dinosaur were playable characters in Capcom Fighting Jam, okay? So I know some of the characters, but I've never played the real game. I have no idea what this game even plays like. It'll be my first time touching the franchise today. Same thing with Cyberbots. I know of Cyberbots because one of the main characters, Jin, was actually a main character in Marvel vs. Capcom, the original Marvel vs. Capcom. So I only know of him and how he plays. I have no idea how the other characters in the game play, nor do I know how the actual fighting game plays itself, right? So I'm excited and to try those out for the first time. I'm not saying that I'm going to be playing these at any length. Maybe I'll just run through them once or twice and say, okay, now I know what it is, big deal. I don't know. Or maybe I'll like it and I'll say, oh man, I want to do a few more runs in these games because I actually think that they're kind of neat. I'm not sure. I don't know how they play, so I guess we're going to find out, all right? So, there's also, of course, Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo, the puzzle game that's similar to, say, Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. That's actually the thing that I could, draw the closest comparison to puzzle game-wise. And then there's also the fighting game based off of it, Gem Fighter Mini Mix, which is kind of a party game. It's not necessarily meant to be a competitive fighter, but it's kind of funny with the graphics and the way that they ran. So, with all these games in the collection, I realized that I need to cover them fairly. So today's main stream is me playing these games offline. You guys will choose, because I'm about to do a poll right now of what you want to see first. Do you want to see Darkstalkers franchise? Do you want to see Hyper Street Fighter 2 Anniversary Edition? Do you want to see Red Earth and Cyberbots, meaning the two franchises I never played before? Or do you want to see Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo and Gem Fighter Mini Mix? So I'm actually going to do a poll right now. Okay? Which game franchise should I tackle first? Should it be Darkstalkers? Should it be Hyper Street Fighter 2? Should it be... I should put AE there so people know it's Arcade Edition. Should I tackle Red Earth and Cyberbots, the two franchises I never played before, or Puzzle Fighter and... Oops. Gem Fighter Mini Mix. All right. The poll is going live right now. So for the 400 of you on stream, please vote what you would like to see me do first. Okay? And that's going to determine the order that I'm playing the games on today's first stream. All right? I'm excited. No matter what wins, I'm excited. Seriously, I don't care what wins. I'm excited for any of it. Any of that sounds interesting to me. Okay? So, please vote. And let's see what happens. Now, the first stream today is all offline content, meaning me dabbling in some of these games offline, okay? Tonight's late stream at 6:45 p.m. Pacific time, we're going to be trying out the multiplayer for the very first time. Now, I don't know how it works. In the 30th anniversary collection, the way that it worked was you could either just do ranked or player matches searching across all of the games at once. You also had the ability to search for one particular game, but then on top of that, you had a lobby system. The thing is with this collection has a lot of different games. 5 versions of Darkstalkers, Hyper Street Fighter 2, Red Earth, Cyberbots, Puzzle Fighter, Gem Fighter. 10 games. Is it really going to search across 10 games for someone random to play in any of them? I don't know. And plus, the thing that really is going to be a little bit confusing to me is Darkstalkers. And here's what I mean by that. Darkstalkers has 5 versions in this collection. Okay? What version are people going to choose to play as the definitive competitive version of Darkstalkers? I don't know. I think, which one does it have? Doesn't it have Darkstalkers, Night Warriors, which is the sequel, Vampire Savior, and then I think it has Night Warriors 2 and Vampire Savior 2, which means it skipped a game because there was a Darkstalkers 3. No, wait. Yeah, there was a Darkstalkers 3. I remember. That was actually the one that added the new cast of characters, including like Queen Bee and BB Hood and Jeddah. So I'm wondering exactly what versions are in here. And again, I wonder which game out of all of them people will choose for the competitive one. Here's why I say that. Darkstalkers is a unique situation. The games didn't release very frequently worldwide, and they weren't readily available. Like Darkstalkers 1, I know was everywhere. Okay? Vampire Savior, I know was everywhere. But outside of those two, I didn't frequently see other Darkstalkers games in arcades, nor did they all get like mainstream ports to home console. Vampire Savior 2, even though you would say, well, logically you're going to play the latest one. It's like if you're playing Street Fighter 2, you're going to play Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. That's the last one in the competitive line, right? Well, right, but Super Turbo was widely available everywhere. In the case of Darkstalkers, both Night Warriors 2 and Vampire Savior 2 were not widespread available games. They weren't frequently or ever in arcades, and I never saw them in an American arcade. And I'm not even aware of them being like officially ported so that they were widespread releases. For many people, Vampire Savior was the last competitive Darkstalkers game that was played competitively in tournaments and the like. So I'm wondering, well, after, let's say this collection's out for a few weeks, maybe the Darkstalkers players who are really hardcore into the game will collectively decide, we're just going to play Vampire Savior. And then that'll be the only one you'll be able to find matches in. I don't know. See, the thing is, I'm not up on my Darkstalkers competitive lore. So I don't know exactly what the community will focus on. Crow says, I don't know about on Xbox because I am playing on Xbox today and tomorrow I'm playing on PlayStation, to clarify. When I played last night, it seemed like most people were playing Vampire Savior online. That makes sense. That's the last one that I ever saw in a physical arcade to play was Vampire Savior. That's the one that has the new cast of characters added in. And if I remember correctly, isn't that when they added custom combos? I think that's when they added the custom combos. Because I think Vampire Savior 2 further refined how they worked and almost made it like Street Fighter Alpha 3. But I think when they were first introduced in Vampire Savior, they weren't as complex. I get them confused because I didn't play them hardcore like some other people did. So I like Darkstalkers. And by the way, I will say this up front. I am not a competitive player of Darkstalkers. I am not anywhere near as good at Darkstalkers as I am at Street Fighter. So I'm going to try to learn the game and have fun. I know the cast. I know how a lot of them play, but I'm not great at it. So don't expect me to be kicking major ass. Don't expect me to be going on crazy competitive tears. I need to play these games and learn them by playing in order to get better at them. And if I don't do that, I'm going to lose a lot, and that's okay. There are going to be people who are going to have played Darkstalkers for years and years, and they're rejoicing that this collection is out, and they're going to kick everyone's ass. And I'm probably going to get my ass kicked, and I'm okay with that. I'm going to learn. Just like everyone else, it's cool to be able to play the game at an equal level with everyone else out there. Yeah, I have fundamentals, and I've played some of these games, 25 years ago in arcades, but for the most part, I'm going to be learning just like everybody else, okay? So I'm excited for that. Again, I don't know what version we're playing, but I guess we'll figure it out. So, yeah, offline gameplay during the day today, and then later tonight on the late stream, competitive multiplayer. I don't even know what we're doing later tonight. I really don't know what we're going to be doing tonight. We'll see. And again, I don't know how the lobby system works. It's going to be exciting to be testing this out for the first time. So today I'm focusing on Xbox. Tomorrow we will switch consoles. And tomorrow I'll be playing on PlayStation. Okay? And we're going to do the same thing tomorrow because there's no way. In 3 hours, there's absolutely no way I could get through all the games in this collection. There's no way I could play through all of them. So what I'll do is, as far as I can get in 3 hours with arcade mode runs, we'll do that. And then tonight, competitive multiplayer. Tomorrow, we'll play some of the other games, and then multiplayer tomorrow night. All right? Then after that, we're going to integrate this collection into the rotation. What I'd like to do, at least initially, is play a lot more of the multiplayer on night streams. Maybe every other night, I'm playing competitive multiplayer in this collection. And even alternating between the two versions of the games for that, for maximum coverage of people who want to play. Eventually, will I do created lobbies and invite people in? Maybe. Depends on what features this game has. If this game has a lobby system where you can create a private lobby and share a password with your viewers, and they use the password to join the lobby and you play with viewers, I'd love to do that. Guess what didn't have that? The Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection. So we couldn't do that. You see, these are common features that fighting games usually have, and that collection didn't have any of them. It's like they've skimped on everything possible to cut corners and pump out a collection and make a buck. So I am excited to see what features are in there and all of that, okay? So let's find out. Let's see together. For 2 days, we're going back in time to the 1990s to play fun CPS2 Capcom fighting games again. And I couldn't be more stoked because these are my 400 years as a gamer, my origins as anything competition in my life. It's really nice. Now, obviously, if you guys are not into competitive fighting games, this might not be your cup of tea. I would urge you, at least give it a chance. Stick around for a little bit, watch me play through some of the games, see what you think. You know, you might not know anything about Darkstalkers and be like, wow, this is actually quite fun to watch because it's cartoony, but at the same time, it's got some really cool combos and abilities. It's pretty funny, Darkstalkers. They had a lot of lighthearted stuff that was in the franchise. At the same time, it's vicious monsters beating the shit out of each other, you know, blood squirting and everything. So it's quite neat. It's a good franchise. Obviously, Hyper Street Fighter 2, I'm going to know what I'm doing, even though admittedly, like I said, I never really played it online against people. I only played it offline, so I only knew what people knew for very limited exposure to the game. Maybe we'll see stuff that I've never seen before. It'll blow me away and be like, holy shit, I didn't know that worked or that happened or that character could be played that way, right? And then the other games, I don't even know what's going to happen. Seriously, I have no idea what's going to happen with some of these games I've never played before. So it's going to be exciting either way. Now, fighting games are not your forte. Listen, I hear you. Not everyone likes every kind of game. I'm going to be playing this for 2 days straight, all right? If you come back on Sunday I'll be going back to my usual variety content. On Sunday, it's going to be Sonic Origins continuing on the first stream, where we're going to finish up Sonic CD, and I'm going to switch over and continue with Sonic 2 in the story mode, okay? Sunday night, we're going to play some Skyrim Anniversary Edition and try to finish up the playthrough. Yeah, after 6 months, I'm finally about to finish the game. All I really want to do left in the game is to get the dragon masks that I haven't gathered yet. And then I want to beat the game. Will I beat it Sunday night? I don't know, but maybe later on in the week. We'll find out, okay? And then on Monday, Tuesday, I'm leaving it completely open. Because here's the thing. We could do more of this, right? We could do more Sonic Origins. We could go back to the Castlevania Anniversary Collection. We could finish up Skyrim. We could do whatever. I'll have a good variety of stuff to draw upon to fill Monday and Tuesday. And what I'd like to do is listen. Listen to the feedback. Listen to what you guys have to say about everything that I'm doing right now. And whatever people want, you'll get. If you want Castlevania back, you'll get it. If you want more Sonic, you'll get it. If you want more fighting games in this collection, you'll get it. Whatever you want, I'm down for it. All right? So it's a very exciting weekend. I'm calling it Retromania because it absolutely is. This entire week has been throwback content, and it continues. Okay? Now, what else is going on? Well, very shortly, I'm going to close down your ability to nominate games for the Viewer's Choice, and I'm going to tally up what you nominated and make the poll for you guys to start voting on the Viewer's Choice game that's going to start in early July. All right? I haven't had a chance to do it recently. Over this weekend, at some point, I should have a chance. All right? So, when I finally get that chance, I'll put it all together, and you guys will start voting. And I'm very excited to see what you vote for a Viewer's Choice playthrough, because July is a pretty dead month. There's 2 games in July, Stray and As Dusk Falls. That's literally it. There's nothing else in July. I'm serious. July is dead. So it's going to be a month of me doing this kind of stuff. And also the viewer's choice is going to be very apropos to be doing at that point, okay? Now, another thing that we need to determine very soon is what I'm going to be doing for my next Marathon React event. And what I mean by that is there's going to be a marathon day coming up in early July where I'm going to be reacting to something. It could be a documentary by someone like Frederick Knudsen or June the King. It could also be me reacting to countdown-style content when it comes to, like, supernatural documentary style stuff, or maybe true crime and murder documentary stuff. I'm not sure what you guys want to see me react to next. So we're going to start figuring this out very soon. I would probably say, like, next week, the very end of June, we should talk about it and figure it out. Maybe do a couple polls or whatever. And once we figure that out, we can set the date for when it's going to be. And that's going to be exciting because not only will there be me reacting to stuff, but also a new Feasting with the King episode and the next over-the-top rope 30-man fantasy battle royale match simulated in WWE 2K22. So that's going to be a good variety stream for sure. So, I'm excited for all the stuff coming up. I hope that you guys are too. I do want to say, to those of you who are live on stream, for those watching on demand on YouTube, this doesn't affect you at all. For those watching live on stream, please welcome back Shui701 as a moderator. Shui was a moderator for a short time and is back to help out. As you guys may have noticed recently, there is either a troll or a group of trolls who have a concerted effort to come in here on a daily basis with a bunch of stupid names, insulting names, and they basically try to derail the stream with things that they're saying. They all spam the same messages. They're all copy-paste messages, all stupid detractor memes and dumb shit. It's the same old shit. You don't have to listen to any of it. It's always the same bullshit, okay? But it's annoying when they come in here and they flood the chat, and especially if I'm either by myself or only like a moderator that's maybe not actively staring at the chat, and I'm playing a game, and I turn back and the whole chat's full of it, and everyone's saying, "Man, Phil, can you take care of this?" Like, man, all right, pause the game, gotta put down my controller, gotta fucking sit here and say, ban. Okay, go back. Of course I start to play, so he comes back with his next group of names. Oh, my, ban. It's annoying. It is. And, listen, it's much better here on YouTube than it ever was on Twitch. I think we all agree. Now that we've had things really in a controlled environment where we're able to enjoy whatever I'm doing, we can interact, we can have a good time together. People who have no lives will find ways around everything, right? So, I'm very happy to welcome Shui back to help out. And hopefully this will help alleviate the nonsense trolling that's been happening recently. Okay. By the way, it looks like Darkstalkers has won by a lot. Darkstalkers, 36% of the vote. Hyper Street Fighter 2 Arcade Edition, 28%. So that's second place. Puzzle Fighter and Gem Fighter Minimix, 23%. Red Earth and Cyberbots, only 14%. So you guys are way more excited to see me maybe play stuff that I'm more familiar with than I have no idea about. Okay. All right, fair enough. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be starting up with Darkstalkers. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be going through each Darkstalkers game in the collection and playing the arcade mode with a different character every time. So I'll start off with one character, and then we'll go to the next. Five. There's 5 versions, right? So we're going to do 5 runs through arcade mode. And each one will show you how the cast has changed, how the gameplay elements change, and how the story changes. There you go. That's cool. We'll do that first. Now, 5 runs. I mean, arcade mode will probably take, like 20 minutes. Maybe we'll have some extra time by the end of the stream to do something else besides Darkstalkers. I guess we'll see. But this may just very well be the Darkstalkers stream. Okay? This will be a good way to get back into Darkstalkers too, because I haven't played it in so long. Last time I played it was the Darkstalkers Resurrection Collection, which was, 10 years ago? So it'll be good to get back into the franchise this way. Okay. Excellent. I'm excited. All right, cool. All right, so that's the plan. Offline gameplay of Darkstalkers now. Tonight, first multiplayer of all these games. Tomorrow, offline gameplay. Tomorrow night, multiplayer. Today, it's all Xbox. Tomorrow, it's all PlayStation 5. Then on Sunday, we go back to Sonic, and we finish up Skyrim. And then Monday, Tuesday are completely wide open, whatever you guys want. Okay? Sounds good? All right. So before we get into shoutouts, I actually have one news story to talk about today. Gaming news, by the way. Not derailing, distracting, annoying political news, but gaming news, okay? Listen to this. This was breaking news yesterday, which is why I didn't have it for the pre-stream yesterday. But wait till you hear this story. You guys are going to like this one, okay? All right, here we go. Get ready. Bungie, the game development company that pretty much primarily today is making Destiny and Destiny 2, although I believe they are actually working on a new game, okay? Bungie is suing a man who issued 96 fake DMCA takedown notices on YouTube impersonating them. They're suing him for $150,000 per false takedown for a grand total of $7.6 million. And you might say, what? How did this happen? What happened? Huh? I have the full story. Wait till you hear this story because it is a doozy. Okay? Very early this year, back in January, there was a YouTuber. His name is I guess, Lord Nazo. Never heard of him, but I believe that he's a YouTuber that makes content based off of Bungie stuff. He decided that he was going to upload the soundtrack to Destiny 2, and I guess, I don't know if it was his expansions or whatever, but he basically uploaded the soundtrack to YouTube. Well, was it gameplay? Was it like, anything that was a transformative work? Apparently not. Apparently it was the soundtrack of Destiny 2. Bungie struck down his video, saying you can't do that. That's not fair use. Well, Lord Nazo was upset about this, and he decided that if my content for Destiny 2 cannot be put onto YouTube's, then absolutely no one else's will be allowed either. So what he did is he took the information that he received in his copyright takedown request from Bungie, and he copy-pasted it. So any information that was real from their claim, he impersonated those people and did 96 fake takedown claims against everyone's content of Destiny 2. He just found people making gameplay content and flat claim takedown, impersonating the company, okay? Now you might say, I don't understand how this could fly on YouTube, okay? Here's the deal. YouTube, all right, for the most part is automated. And I think we all know that at this point, okay? We all know that YouTube does not have enough employees to really review or take care of cases. They just allow everything to be run by bots. And then if something gets fucked up or done wrong, it's up to the humans on the other end to fix it. So if you're a content creator and you receive a false DMCA, you have to counter it and tell YouTube this is bullshit, clear it up immediately. And sometimes it can take weeks. Okay? It's a nightmare. It's a mess. It shouldn't happen. It shouldn't be this way. YouTube's system for DMCA is completely insufficient. And quite frankly, if anyone ever sued YouTube in a class action lawsuit, I feel they would win and YouTube would be forced to improve the DMCA system because it's broken. Okay? But I digress. Over the years, people have abused YouTube's system. All they really need to do is get information that seems to be semi-realistic, and YouTube will think it's real and grant it. Case in point, I don't even know how this happened. It was like an ultimate coincidence. This morning, I'm looking at some comments on my videos on DSPGaming. Apparently, someone impersonated me and took down videos on YouTube, I guess overnight or within the last couple of days, because there was like 5 or 10 people who all left comments on my videos. Oh, Phil, you're taking down people's videos, copyright strikes. Why would you do that? I'm like, I've outright said to you guys, and I'll say it again publicly right here, I don't do that. I do not claim videos on YouTube. I do not take down videos with DMCA. I do none of this. All right? None of it. I've never claimed a video. I don't take down videos with DMCA. I believe it's whatever's out there is out there. And as much as people hate on me and shit on me, I don't do any of those actions. All right? There have been cases in history where videos have been taken down, but it wasn't me. For example, when I used to be partnered with Machinima, they were taking down videos, not me. I didn't do it. It was Machinima, my partner network at that time, that was doing it. I don't do this. I don't have time to do this. I just don't bother with it. It's stupid. It's a waste of everyone's time anyway. Unless you're going to sue someone, actually hit them with a lawsuit, okay? Nothing sticks on YouTube regardless. Even if someone outright steals your content. If someone today literally just copy pasted this PreStream podcast from my channel to theirs, all right? That's complete theft. That's not fair use. That's theft. I could strike them with a takedown. All they need to do is dispute it, and it goes right back up. And then the only thing I can do is sue them. That's how YouTube works. So why in the fuck would I waste my time taking down content on YouTube? It doesn't, none of it sticks. It's worthless. It's a waste of everyone's time. Okay? So I've never done this before. But I'm being yelled at by people. Why are you taking down content? Why are you? I'm not. I don't do this. I don't take down content on YouTube. I don't take down content on Twitter. I don't take down content anywhere. But people constantly tell me I'm doing it. In fact, I still get notices sometimes on my Twitter. Here's a follow-up on the claim that you made. What are you talking about? I didn't claim anything, or I didn't flag. Sometimes I get, here's a follow-up on the community guideline report you submitted. I didn't submit one. People are using my information and impersonating me, and these businesses are so dumb they think it's me. Okay? So anyway, the point I'm making here is it's easy to impersonate. If you have semi-legit information, it's pretty easy to impersonate this stuff, okay? Now, from what I'm to understand, if there is a channel that sadly has been the victim of repeated issues, YouTube will put it into a flag status, and what that means is that channel will not necessarily keep getting taken down by fake shit, which is good. But it's still too little too late for someone who's like just a regular content creator and they're getting copyright strikes on their channel. It's bullshit. Okay? So anyway, this Lord Nazo guy is so upset that Bungie legitimately took down his video for using their licensed music, which apparently is all that the uploads were. He says, well, if I can't make content of Destiny 2, no one can make content of Destiny 2. He takes the information he received in the legit DMCA takedown against his video, copy pastes it, and issues 96 fake takedowns. This resulted in big controversy. This was actually big news earlier this year because content creators of Destiny 2, large and small, were all being affected by this and actually contacted Bungie about it, saying, why would you be claiming our videos? You said that this is stuff we should be doing. This is part of our community. This is how we promote the game. This is how we enjoy the game together. Why would you claim it? And Bungie responded saying, we didn't. We don't even know what you're talking about. Can you provide information? So some of the bigger YouTubers did. And Bungie, for the last 6 months, worked with YouTube to investigate what actually was going on. I guess YouTube did, in this case, give up the information, likely because Bungie's a major company, and says, yes, we actually want to take this guy to court. So give us the information. YouTube provided it. And Bungie just issued the lawsuit for $7.6 million against this Lord Nazo YouTuber. Okay? Now, let's be honest here. Do you really think that each false takedown resulted in $150,000 in damages? No. That's preposterous. What they're doing is, it's called throwing the book at someone. It's basically try to get the maximum penalty, the maximum incurring for a wrongdoing occurrence. You see, this guy did the wrong thing 96 times. So go after him for whatever the maximum amount could possibly be. In a court of law, do you think any judge in their right mind is going to say, so this guy put in 96 trolling requests. Yes, they're illegal. False DMCA takedowns are absolutely illegal. Okay? I think what it is people have gotten away with it for so long, they seem to forget the fact you're committing a crime. You're committing fraud if you are putting in false DMCA takedowns. This is not trolling. This is an actual crime. you can go to jail for it, and you could be sued for big money for doing this, okay? But this is literally the first time it's gone to court, okay? So they're trying to get the maximum. Do you really think that a small rinky-dink YouTuber who probably has next to no following regardless is going to be paying $7-point-something million? No, this is ridiculous. The guy doesn't make $7 million on his YouTube channel. How the hell is he going to pay that to Bungie? It's not going to happen. But what will likely happen, okay, is they'll take a look at the situation. It's going to either go to a trial, in which case I don't think this guy will have a leg to stand on. If YouTube provided the evidence of the false submission of claim, it's all tracked IP addresses. It probably went through his channel or whatever. He's fucked. I can't imagine this guy getting off. You know, would a judge rule for $150,000 per claim? No, absolutely not. The judge will likely rule in something that's reasonable that the guy can afford as a penalty. But more than likely, once this guy realizes what shit he's in, he may just talk to Bungie about a settlement. And what that means is that he will likely find a way to get them to forgive it all. Because realistically, what did Bungie lose with those fake takedowns? Absolutely nothing. For a little bit, it made them look bad, right? Then they stated it wasn't them. And that was that. It's not a big deal. Not everyone's so angry at Bungie. I don't think people were angry at Bungie once they said it wasn't us, it's someone impersonating us. So I think if anything, what they'll try to do is punish the guy within reason, but not ruin the guy's life. You know what I mean? Throw the book at him, per se. Maybe make him do a public apology. Maybe some community service. You know what I'm saying? Like something within reason so that the guy does suffer for what he did. But at the very same time, what you want to do now is you want to establish a precedency so that anyone else who tries to commit false DMCAs like this is now deterred from doing it. Because at this point, let's be honest, has there been any deterrence of someone abusing the DMCA takedown system on YouTube? No, absolutely no one's been penalized for it before. No one. Everyone just gets away with it, right? Like I said, YouTube's system is a kind of guilty until proven innocent system. So you get the strike or you get the takedown. You get negatively affected. Now it's on you, the content creator who is falsely accused, to clear it up. It's not like the person accusing has to really prove that much, you see? And then once you clear it up, does the person who put in the false claim ever get followed up on, researched, or punished? No, they just get away with it scot-free. That's always been the system that's been on YouTube. It's completely broken. What a joke of a system. Bungie, the first company ever stepping up to the plate and saying, we absolutely do not want this system being abused in the future, so we're going to lay the groundwork, we're going to lay the precedent that if anyone else ever tries to do something like this Lord Nazo guy did again, they're going to be deterred from doing it. Because look, effectively this guy's life is ruined in a very negative way. Maybe he lost money, maybe he had to do community service, maybe he had all of his YouTube channels permanently banned, he can never use the site ever again. You know, all these things. Who knows what it's going to be, but ultimately I feel like there will be some kind of a settlement. I don't think this is ever going to go through a full trial. I don't think you're going to have a court, a trial where they're going to explain, so here's how the DMCA takedown works on YouTube, and here's when he impersonated him. I don't think it's ever going to go to that, okay? But I think what'll happen is the guy will eventually have negative consequences for what he did in some way, some concrete way, and then anyone else who thinks that, oh, it's just so easy to do this, they're going to be like, okay, well, you know what? I guess companies are going to take it seriously. If we impersonate, there's a chance I'm going to get sued. There's a chance that my life will be ruined, so I'm not going to do that, right? And that's really what we need. We need actually, we need to get to a point where there's consequences for everything, okay? So I guess we'll see what happens moving forward. But it's just an interesting story to me. It's the first time anyone taken to task for abusing the copyright system, which has been, I mean, just think about this. I was the victim of this in like 2009. Do you guys remember I was doing a Splinter Cell playthrough and someone impersonated Ubisoft? And then I said to I didn't say to Ubisoft, but my fans contacted Ubisoft and said, did you do this to Dark Side Phil? Why would you? And they said, no, that's not us. They talked to YouTube. Come to find out, it was someone it was named Steve Jones, right? Steve fucking Jones impersonating an Ubisoft employee. Someone who didn't even work at Ubisoft, okay? So this is something that's been around for, 13 years, and YouTube still didn't fix it. So obviously something needs to finally be done. So thank God something is finally being done, okay? Okay, we're going to get the shout-outs in just a moment. Give me a second here. Oh, stretch my leg. Ouch. Okay. Sorry. All right. Shout-outs time. Shall we do it? Okay. So we got a lot of shout-outs to do. Holy crap. On the YouTube side of things, this is going to take a while, so everyone please be patient. On the YouTube side of things this morning, we start off today with Punk Pina, who did a super chat, $10 super chat, saying, "Hi DSP, I'm showing some support. Looking forward to your online multiplayer premiere later today." I know, I'm very excited to see how the online multiplayer will hold up in this collection, okay? Oh, guess what? My queue did not work. What I mean by that is, my queue is not showing everyone who got a gifted membership. It only shows like 10. So you remember, gifted memberships on YouTube are something new, and it doesn't work as well as it used to on Twitch. So sadly, even though there was 30 gifted memberships this morning, or something like that, I could only see like 8. It's fucked up. I refreshed and everything, and they're like, it's just only showing 8, which is completely wrong. Yeah. And I can't even see it over here either. I have a queue on YouTube, and that doesn't work either. There's no way to break these open and see who actually got the gifted memberships. Wow, that sucks. That totally sucks. Actually, hold on a second. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I could find it somewhere else. Hold on. Give me a second here. Maybe I could bring it up somewhere else. Let me take a look. Because first of all, what I would like to do is update the total number of members. We're currently at 552. Thank you so much to Trill1, who gifted a ridiculous amount of memberships this morning. It allowed us to jump up a significant amount here, okay? So I think I can do this. Cool. Okay, hold on. Ready? I think I can shout them out. All right. Shout out to the following either new members or renewed members as a result of all the gifted memberships today. I Am No One, Bacon Boy, Nemesis T-Type, Flipadelphia, Double Express, Darock Solid, Nico C, Tawali, Nisho Tito, Jeremy Kyle, Gaming Guru, Saw Yearney, Austin Sam, Big Tuna, Some Guy, Walter Moss, Kyle Denson, RZA Beast, Stealth and Shadows, Kagome, Tyrone Bigsby, Mike Shelton, Felipe Baxter, Gavin W, Aspire 410H, John Kanashige, Cabbage McGraw, Pat Sapactly, Kelsey Mack, Rabbit Couch, Eric Martinez, Sweets, and Xander Cruz. Congratulations to all of you, and thank you very much to Trill1, who is the person who gifted some 25 or 30 memberships to the channel this morning, allowing us to get that big boost. That helps a lot, and I'm sure these people will definitely enjoy having these memberships, especially, you know, today and tomorrow for the premiere of the Capcom Fighting Collection. So thank you so very much for that. All right. Continuing on, B-Boy Cyclone did a super chat saying, I'm excited to see some Street Fighter and Darkstalker matches filled. Me too. I'm excited to see how this game performs online. Then B-Boy Cyclone did another super chat talking about politics, which we're not going to do, but I appreciate it. Big Tuna re-upped their membership and said, I want another South Park game from Ubisoft. Sadly, I don't think that's happening. Ubisoft did the 2 of them, and I think that's it. I don't think that they're actually working on a 3rd one, which is a shame, because I do agree that the franchise was good, but I actually would be wondering where they would go with a 3rd game, considering the 2nd one, right? The Fractured But Whole didn't really innovate that much from the 1st one, besides the whole grid system, where your characters could move around to hit each other. Outside of that, it really wasn't that innovative, and it kind of felt like the same game with a slightly different tweaked plot. So I don't know what they would have done with a 3rd game, quite frankly. So, and then Snow Carl Reformed re-upped his membership and says, happy Midsummer's Eve filled, you celebrated. I don't know what that means. Midsummer's Eve? No, the summer solstice just happened a few days ago, meaning it just became summertime here in the United States. But outside of that, I'm not too aware about anything else. So thank you for that. So who was the last super chatter there was B-Boy Cyclone, I believe. Thank you, B-Boy Cyclone, for that super chat. Did I spell it right? B-Boy Cy. I did spell it right. Wow. Off the top of my head, I spelled his name right. I'm impressed with myself. Okay, now, when it comes to tips, let's get things started with Jax Raxer, who I'm shocked is here, because Jax usually is not here during daytime streams. However, he did the $1.50 today to get the tipping started. He says, hey, Phil, I've been playing this collection on Switch. Generally, I've been pleased so far. I decided to attend the inaugural day stream. Awesome. To see if I can get some insight on how to play some of the new games. My main tip will be tonight on the late stream. Sounds good. Thank you, Jax. For the first tip of the day, it's good to have you on a day stream because you're almost never here. And it looks like we're doing Darkstalkers to start today, and we'll go from there, okay? Darkstalkers is cool. There's such a variety of characters that are all played so differently. Traditionally, I would play characters such as Sasquatch, Dimitri, Morrigan, because they were more like Shoto clones, Dimitri and Morrigan. But then I also played with characters such as Lord Raptor is actually the character I started with in the game, interestingly enough. Although he doesn't play anything like a character in other games. He's a weird rushdown hybrid character. Some characters I've dealt with over the years that I wasn't very good with, like Rikuo, Bishamon. I like those characters. And then Shenko, I like, but I only really played the games before she was a main character. They added her later. And then when they added in the newer characters on top of that, I actually liked Queen Bee. She had a bunch of grapples and stuff that were kind of nice. So we'll see. We'll mess around. I don't actually know who I'm going to use today. We'll figure it out on the fly, okay? Snow Carl to the $1.50 and says, how do you feel about the fact fighting game genre's best days are long past? It's such a niche genre these days. I miss when Tekken, Super Smash were big. It seems every new fighting game installment gets less traction. Yes, but I mean, here's the thing. Just like everything, there's peaks and valleys, right? There's ebbs and flows, and fighting games were insanely, hugely popular in the 1990s. And then, in the mid-2000s, they died out completely. Then all of a sudden, Street Fighter 4 comes out in 2009, and we get another giant reinvigoration, and entire franchises got rebooted and returned like Mortal Kombat. And then, it kind of died out again around the time Street Fighter 5 came out, 2016, 2017. The last 5 years, it's been relatively quiet, right? I mean, like I said, it's always like this. So we are bound at some point to get another reinvigoration coming, okay? It's on the way. But when will it be? I don't know. Will it be Street Fighter 6 that creates that reinvigoration? Or will it end up being another thing? I don't know. I guess we're going to find out together, but I think fighting games will come back to prominence at some point. It kind of goes up and down, just like this, up and down, up and down. So we'll see. Pika Pika has tipped me $1.50, says, I'm quite excited to see you play this collection. I'm quite upset Alpha 2 Gold didn't make it. I'll still get the collection regardless. Yeah, I mean, the one thing that really upset me about the Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection, okay, is that they put Alpha 3 in there as the game that they played with online play. And then what was funny is they teased when the game released that if the game did well, they were going to supposedly increase the amount of games that were going to be online compatible. Hold on. In the games that were going to be online compatible, they basically were like, oh yeah, we're going to add more in the long term. Oh, they didn't do shit. They didn't even make the game work in the long term. They barely patched it to make the lobbies work. So everyone was under the impression that you would buy the Street Fighter Anniversary Collection, and at first it would just have Hyper Fighting, Super Turbo, Alpha 3, Street Fighter 3, but then maybe later on they would add in multiplayer for games like Alpha 1, Alpha 2, maybe earlier versions of Street Fighter 3. They didn't do any of that. They didn't care. They literally just didn't give a shit. They were like, oh, it's out there, whatever. Oh, wait, you want us to patch it so lobbies work? All right, well, we'll put in minimal effort. So they lied, basically. And it's Digital Eclipse. That's par for the course for them. So, yeah, Alpha 2 never got online play. Alpha 2, in my opinion, is the best competitive Alpha game in the franchise. A good mix of characters that have different play styles. That was the introduction of custom combos for the first time ever in the Street Fighter franchise, and they were kind of unique and interesting at the time. Alpha 3, I just don't like. I think it's an unbalanced game. So I would have loved to have Alpha 2, Alpha 2 Gold. Any version of Alpha 2 at all would have been good in the Anniversary Collection, and they didn't care about doing that at all or doing it online. So with this collection, I guess I feel it is kind of a missed opportunity, but I think what it is they didn't really focus on Street Fighter. Take a look. It's 5 versions of Darkstalkers. It's every other game that's not Street Fighter is in here. And then they were like, okay, let's wedge in a version of Street Fighter that we never had an online play in it before. So let's wedge in Anniversary Edition because people have never played it online before. Let's have that for the first time, you see. So thank you, Pika Pika, for the tip. Okay. I believe we got more stuff on the YouTube side of things. So, Bad Boy just did a super chat saying, check your Twitter. I sent you a lag graph. I don't have that. Nope. I don't have it. I do not see it. Did you tag me? Because I don't have it. I would be curious to see what this lag graph is you're talking about, but I do not see it. Sorry. Big Slamoo just became a channel member, and I believe that's another new member. So let's get that up there. And now we're up to 553 members, okay? Big Slamoo. Okay. We have some extra time. So if people would like to do shout-outs, if people would like to do some Q&A, tag me in the chat, and I have a few extra minutes to answer some questions before we jump into Darkstalkers. And I guess we're going to do a little history of Darkstalkers, right? We're going to go through all the different games. What did I just do? I didn't mean to do that. That was a complete mistake. I wanted to turn off, the auto white balance because it keeps making me look stupid. There we go. Now the auto white balance is off. Okay. Big Papa Phil says apparently the PC version of this collection has noticeable input lag over the console version. Now that's completely the opposite of usual. Usually, PC is the best. Especially with recent, fighting game releases. People have always said the PC has the least input lag. That's what you got to go for. That's kind of ridiculous that it seems to have the worst input lag. But well, it is what it is, I guess. Obviously it doesn't affect me, but that's sad. So, Abdullah says, I was playing Capcom on Switch, this collection. There's 2 versions of the games, Japanese and American. Bison's name is Vega. I was so confused. Shenko is Lele in Japan. Yes, it's all these different names. That's right. They changed a lot of the names over the years, bringing into the the Western versions for some odd reason. I mean, actually, some odd reason we know why Street Fighter 2 is because Mike Tyson, Mike Bison. People didn't want to get sued, so they swapped the names around. Terry Tate says, do you think if Street Fighter 6 flops like Street Fighter 5, is that effectively over for future of fighting games? No, but I would say that's the end of Street Fighter. Seriously, I mean it. Like, Street Fighter will never be prominent again. You can't have the game that was number 1 become middle of the pack to lower in the pack and then bottom of the pack and then expect that it's ever coming back. It has to be great. and it has to have a successful launch, and it has to be hype and positive, and people have to like it. This is make or break for Street Fighter with Street Fighter 6. Seriously. Excuse me. Niku says, I used to watch your Darkstalkers Resurrection gameplay from years ago, and I'm excited for this. Yeah, keep in mind, that's the last time I played it. I'm going to be very rusty. I'm going to be trying to remember the games and relearn them and everything. Don't expect greatness here at first, but hopefully over time, me playing it for a bit, I'll learn and I'll get better and I'll be able to do more. Ghost of J re-upped their membership for 14 months. Says, sup man, any plans on revisiting VR chat? Fuck no. No one plays that shit anymore. No one cares about that besides little kids. Shia says, did I miss my shout out? What shout out, Shia? I'm not sure what you mean. A shout out for what? I don't see a super chat, and there was no tip. So I'm not sure what you mean. Zebby Bobebi tipped $2 and says, I wish for Felicia from Darkstalkers. I have mixed... What? I'm not even reading the rest of that. That's disgusting. Wow. Zebby Bobebi, that's the kind of stuff you want to keep to yourself. Just so you know, a little life tip. You should keep those kind of thoughts to yourself. Okay? All right. It's tremendous. Wow. $2 tip from Zebby Bobebi, by the way. Okay. Pastry Lovin' Bastard just did a super chat. It says, Hola, amigos. Thank you to Pastry Lovin' Bastard for the super chat. What a name. All right. AMC says, will you play against LTG in this collection? If I randomly meet him online, yes, I guess. But outside of that, we already know the answer. If I were to challenge him, he's going to say no. He said no 4 years ago with the 30th anniversary collection. He feels playing me has absolutely no benefit to him. It's all risk, no reward. So unless that's changed in 4 years, I doubt it. I don't think he's going to want to play me in this. For Jeff Purposes, his opinion on cheating in video games being illegal in South Korea, good. Put him in the gulag. That's all I have to say about that. LTG just got banned from Twitch again for the 3rd time. Come on, man. What's funny is, when LTG returned to Twitch, a few months ago, was it? I don't remember exactly when. Basically, like, I remember he was, like, celebrating it and said, everyone, back to Twitch, back to Twitch. And remember what I said, because people asked me at that time. I said, why would you go back? Think about this. Why would you go back to a place where you're treated badly? You're treated like shit, right? Why would you go back to the abusive relationship? I mean, do you have Stockholm Syndrome? Did you become so conditioned that you like the mistreatment? Why? That's what people say, when Phil, when you're eligible again to go back to the Twitch partner program, would you go back? And some of my detractors and haters were like, oh, he's going back no matter what. That's where the money is. That's where the viewership is. He's going back. Well, guess what, folks? It's been over a year and I'm not back. I'm not going back. I don't want to be abused and treated unprofessionally. Yes, this is my hobby, but this is also my business, my job. This is how I make a living. This is how I pay for my family's well-being. I can't put that at risk to go back to Twitch where they're going to be completely ridiculously unprofessional, over the top. Why would you go back there? Once you've already been mistreated and there's a history of mistreatment, why would you return to the place where you're mistreated, right? I just don't get that. So if he got banned again, I feel bad, but at the same time, get the fuck out and don't go back, man. Like, seriously, learn the lesson this time. Don't waste your time with those assholes. Okay. What's up, Jade? Because I went to GameStop with my little brother. We bought Red Dead Redemption 2. Great narrative game. If you've never seen someone play it or never experienced the story of it, you're probably going to have a great time with it. So, enjoy. Is there a chance of having Connect as a viewer's choice? No. No, Connect wouldn't even work in my room. I think I still have my Connect for my Xbox One up in my closet somewhere buried, but there's no way it would work in here. There's not enough space in this room for Connect to work, so that's definitely a no-go. Okay. Anything else? Any last-minute questions? I do have to take a quick break to use the restroom before we start. It definitely makes sense for me to do that before we start with a fighting game or... you don't want to have a little accident when you get excited mashing out a super, if you know what I mean. Johnny Boys, what other games are you looking forward to? The next couple games coming out, well, next week is the expansion for Cuphead. I'm excited for that, but it's short. It's only like 4 hours. Stray sounds really good. As Dusk Falls is from the makers of Heavy Rain. I'm excited for that. So that's the next stuff on the agenda. Closet clean out stream when? Good question. That could be something that we eventually do as some kind of a different kind of goal, right? Maybe we'll do that, right? Maybe we'll do a membership goal. We get a certain amount of members. We'll do a closet clean out marathon where I just sit here emptying my closet of junk and showing you everything that's in there. Throwing out a lot of it. Like, they'll just take a big trash bag and toss it. Toss a bunch of junk. Okay. Is that it, guys? All right. So, let's take a break. By the way, support, slow start, but I'm not mad or anything. I think we're going to have a lot of coverage of this game over the next couple of days. Hopefully you guys will enjoy it. Hopefully you will support it. If you like old school fighting games, and we're doing it offline, which is a lot different than me just playing online play. So hopefully we'll see what happens, all right? But let's take a break, and when we come back, I guess we're doing Darkstalker stuff, all right? Cool.